No. Next up at UFC Vegas 90, we have Wild Man Trevor Peek taking on Charlie Campbell. Trevor Peek, 9-1 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, coming off the first decision win of his career. He's taking on Charlie Campbell, 8-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that knockout win over Alex Reyes.
My name's Trevor Peek.
In his UFC debut. Dude, that was a box of chocolates voice. My name's Trevor Peek. Mama always said. Anyway. Trevor Peek is not a particularly skilled fighter, right? If you're just going skill for skill, there's not a ton of clean techniques coming out of there. There's not a ton of really nice, well set up doubles. There's not a lot of sit behind the jab kind of striking. But what Trevor Peek is crazy. He will come forward. First of all, he has the chin you expect him to have with that jawline. You can hit him with a bat, you can hit him with a shovel. This dude's fine.
I had a friend in high school that got hit in the forehead with a bat, split him wide open. It was insane. There was a substitute teacher at fucking gym class that was letting people fuck around. I wasn't there, but people said the sound was just tink. It just split him. He had the Harry Potter scar in stitches. He came to school like the next week, and I was talking to him in class, and his stitches just all of a sudden just started bleeding down his face. I was like, oh, that's disgusting. Split him wide the fuck open.
I have 30 stitches right here. You can't. They did a good job with it, so you can't see. Oh, but
I had cancer. So I had cancer.
A sun allergy
on my face.
That's
what these scars are.
The earth hates you so bad. It said, you know what? Every time this motherfucker goes outside, let's try to kill him. And it did. It tried to kill you every time you go outside.
I'm not gonna apologize for being a survivor because that's part of me, and I'm proud of that.
I wouldn't brag about it either. Tell you that much. Anyway, I got hit in the head. My little brother and I.
All right,
this
is
to the
breakdown.
No.
I mean,
this was like
Christ, man.
Elementary school. My little brother and I were hitting golf balls. He had a little pile of golf balls. I had a pile of golf balls with an aluminum bat into like the woods. And I took one from his pile, and he didn't even fucking think about it. Just bang, just hit me right in the head with an aluminum bat. And it was so fast you don't feel it. And I immediately was like, "Oh, you're in so much trouble." And I ran inside to tattle. And as
your little brother.
He hit me in the head with a baseball bat.
Oh, my God. That sums up everything makes sense now.
As I'm running up the stairs, blood is just pouring everywhere. And I needed 30 stitches right here above my eyebrow. Either way, Trevor Peek, he wouldn't bleed if you hit him in the head with an aluminum bat because he took one of your golf balls. He's got an insane chin, and he will just come forward, swinging wild, staying in your face. You can't get rid of him with some punches. And he is going to be there that entire time looking for a finish, trying to toss you around, trying to take your head off. He's taking on Charlie Campbell. Charlie Campbell is not that guy. He's a technical striker. He likes to pick his shots. He likes to use accuracy instead of coming forward with wild combinations. He also can be hittable because he keeps his hands a little bit low, but he's got good leg kicks, great takedown defense, and if he does get a takedown, he is busy on top. He's coming out of that Sarah Longo fight gym, so you know he's gotten some good wrestling looks as well, and he's coming off of the stoppage over Alex Reyes in his UFC debut. Alex Reyes hadn't fought in years. He had like a blood disease. I mean, that wasn't a great fight to establish the bar of who Charlie Campbell is. I do think that's what's happening here with this line. I think this line is sort of indicative of Charlie's last fight, when the reality is Charlie's a technical striker. Trevor Peek is a wild savage that's going to stay in your face. And I think Trevor Peek will move forward, stay in Charlie's face, make it ugly, touch him up, and Charlie will have to fight a perfect fight to win here. He's not going to knock out Trevor Peek. He's not going to knock him out. That's just not something that can happen. So now he has to pick him apart for 15 full minutes. And I think that's hard to do. Chepe beat Trevor because Chepe is also a dog. And he stayed in Trevor's face. And when Trevor would overcommit to forward movement, Chepe would wrestle. He'd toss him. He'd shoot a takedown. Where that's not really how Charlie Campbell fights. Trevor Peek's not the better fighter, arguably not even a good fighter. But I'm going to pick him here because that guy's a savage animal that you can't knock out, and you can't really. He's almost. I'm going to be nice. Jacob, what are your thoughts?
I can't. I can only imagine where that was about to go. But, yeah, Charlie Campbell is the better fighter. Yeah, he is the better fighter. He should be the pick. But what I worry about with Charlie Campbell, honestly, is the fact that in his last fight, he showed that he learned from the Duncan fight, right? The Duncan fight, he almost got the knockout. He got a little bit too aggressive and got fucking absolutely put out. So in his last fight, he was kind of taking his time, right? He had the guy hurt, but was taking his time. Then he was in and out. Then he hurt him again, but he learned his lesson as far as rushing in to try to finish the fight. The issue is he was still able to finish that fight. If he does that versus Trevor Peek, because I imagine he's probably going to land a decent shot on Trevor Peek, but if he just takes his time, because he knows Trevor Peek is going to want to brawl, right? Everyone knows that you don't want to brawl with Trevor Peek because he will throw some wild shit that you're not really used to, different angles, and he will fucking put you out if he hurts you. And Charlie Campbell knows that. He's going to have PTSD, so he's probably going to touch Trevor Peek. He's going to take his time, and if you take your time, Trevor Peek's going to he's going to recover. He's going to be fine. He's probably going to make it out of the first round, and then we get to a situation where we really haven't seen Charlie Campbell second round, third round. We haven't really seen him in an actual type of fight lately. Where Trevor Peek, to his credit, we've seen him be tenacious for 3 straight rounds. So as much as I like Charlie Campbell and think he's the better fighter, I actually think his unwillingness to try to finish a guy like Trevor Peek is going to be his downfall. I think this fight extends. I think it gets in the second round, and then it just becomes Trevor Peek's pressure that's going to take over. And this could be a decision fight. Maybe Trevor Peek's able to find a finish that he hasn't been able to find in the last couple of fights, being that wild style. But I think this fight extends, and if it gets to the second round and Trevor Peek's still there, I honestly think it's just going to be his pressure. It's going to be too overwhelming for a guy like Charlie Campbell. And Charlie Campbell, even early, isn't really a sniper type fighter. He really kind of wants to get in there and throw an extended combination, which is going to be dangerous as well. So, even though Trevor Peek is not the better fighter here, I think his toughness and tenacity is enough to beat a guy like Charlie Campbell, and I think he can just kind of dog this one out. My name's Trevor Peek.
Yeah, listen, I have the over 1.5 round bet here, and I got it at plus 165. What is it now? Did I get good odds, or are they even better?
Let me just fucking do
I
your
was
job.
just
Or I was sitting
expected you to
for
be
fucking
ready.
6 minutes where you could have just looked it up your goddamn self. But any other songs and dances you want me to do for you, anything like that?
No, the people have decided they don't
Plus
like when you sing.
145. What did you get?
All right, so I got 165. Baby.
Oh, CLV for the ANG who has HIV.
CLV. What's CLV? Oh, closing line value. Got it.
For ANG, who's you, who has HIV because you have a man hickey, and a UTI. So HIV is next.
I mean, that's from jiu-jitsu for sure.
You have soupy
100%.
green discharge is what you told me today.
Okay. None of these things are true. Please continue to watch the show and don't click away because Jacob is saying
Like the
gross,
stream.
horrendous things. Yeah, please.
I was about to leave, but I think you're going to ask me something.
No, I honestly give a fuck about your opinion about most of this shit. Charlie Campbell being $9,000 in DraftKings is kind of wild. It's kind of wild. $9,000 in DraftKings Fantasy. And yes, he just scored those points. He was just worth that money, knocking out a blood disease 3-year layoff having Dominic Reyes' little brother, Alex Reyes. But that's not who Trevor Peek is. So Trevor Peek at $7,200 in DraftKings makes a lot of sense. I would avoid Trevor Peek's money line. I don't think his money line is worth it. I have 2 bets on this fight. I have the over 1.5 at plus 165. And then I have Trevor Peek wins inside the distance, decision no action at plus 125. I have both of those bets. I think that's the safer bet. You lose a little bit of value on the Trevor side, but he's not going to get finished. And him getting finished is the only way that bet loses. You either get a refund or it'll pay. I said I had inside the distance decision no action on Trevi. You think he's going to get finished? Like, that's the only way that bet loses.
I know, but I think there's a decent chance he wins a decision. So,
well, then I'll get a refund. Then it's fine. And then my over hit. I mean, use your brain.
I think you might as well just play the money line if you're going to play that. Because then you're going to win inside. You don't think he's not going to get finished either way. So if you play his money line, you're going to win if he wins the fight or if he wins inside distance either way.
Yeah, but I'm also covered.
Odds.
I'm also covered if he finishes this dude. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, just use your brain. Use your brain. No, but I think he can lose a decision because he's not the better fighter here. And if Charlie dances and hangs out, so I don't know. I'd rather give up a little bit of that value and protect myself a couple times over.
Decent amount of value there for the plus 190. You're gonna get a
plus 190 is
a guy that fucking fights for you. I didn't know that about that.
Well, that is true. But the plus 190 is bet openly odds. You can check them out. You're literally gonna get the best odds on the planet. Just go to we1picks.com.bet or just betopenly.com. But plus 180 on the books earlier today. Trevor seems to be everybody's favorite dog this week. So I imagine that line will tighten unless the comment section is not indicative of actual
82. It is moving fast.
So yeah, I mean it is a we1picks.com, click become a member at the top. It's only $10 a month. Thank you. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to we1picks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.